perform that, keep going. That doesn't matter. I think what matters is how do you demonstrate that. Unfortunately, we talk about it much. When you come to actions, we don't do it. We don't have a time to do performance management interview. I think I'm saying, even in a multinational companies, now things have changed. 20 years back, my performance appraisal used to be in the car. When my boss is going to golf club, he used to ask me to sit. Then we used to sit. They used to have it's a British company. Used to have a system. I thought, what should I say? We work together. No problem. It's fine, all fine. So that's how it should be. You see, now things have changed. Unless in the top, unless the director of the company spends time with his staff, rest will not spend time. So it has to come from, it has become a culture now. It should become a part of the culture. It should cascade down. If the chairman of the board is not taking interest, then the director will not take interest. Then director will not take, others will not take it. So it goes down. I think, it's important. What is called the hardwiring, the soft stuff. How do you translate those values into actions? It's no point in saying, I want to do employees engagement survey. First time everybody will participate. After that you don't share the results. Even if you share the results, you don't act on the feedback. Next time nobody will participate. It becomes a failure. Similarly, don't do it, as I said, for the sake of saying it. Because in the 80s when we started, late 80s, we said fun at work. But then we said, look, any employee gets married, we should go for a wedding gift. So first time when a wedding gift was given, managing director has gone. Next time HR director has gone. Next time HR manager has gone. After that, welfare officer has gone. After that, chaprasi has gone. Now it goes through Korea. Lost instinct. There are certain things, you need to relate to people. You need to understand. If you don't relate to people, don't do it mechanically, it loses its character. Then you need to think whether it's the right way of recognizing and rewarding people or celebrating any event. I think, this is important. So while concluding, I need to say, there are two fundamental principles, be it a business, be it marketing, be it sales. Firstly, as a manager, you will all become future leaders because you are fortunate India is growing and demographics of India dividend is great and very young. You have got a great opportunities to grow, unlike most of us, which is great. But having said that, you should utilize to your advantage. If you don't utilize your advantage, competition is very high. And capability building is an ongoing process. What you learn today in the PGDM may not hold good after 5 years. So learning is a continuous process and you should keep learning. Learning need not mean reading books. Try to understand what's happening around and how can you do it. As I said, today Nokia is doing it. Where are typewriting machines today? There were only two brands, Godrej and Remington brand. Both are gone because technology has changed. So it is not only competitor intelligence. Don't think who is your competitor today. Think about who could be your competitor tomorrow. You understand? I want to end up saying, just to leave a thought to you. What Apple did to Sony, Sony did to Kodak. Can anyone, marketing guys, can analyze analytics? What Apple did to Sony, Sony did to Kodak. Analyze. What Apple did to Sony? What Apple did to Sony? In which way they killed their brand? Walkman was killed by iPod. They thought that they will not, they are only visual, they can't be in audio, but they did not understand they are in audio. But when they did not, they had the technology, they didn't do it. What did Sony do to Kodak? Kodak was famous for films and the digital camera. And they had the technology, but they didn't. IBM thought it's mainframe, but PCs came. So, Bill Gates thought internet is a fad, but then he has to buy to get over Netscape. So I think, just think about it one thing. Just don't think inward, think outside. Not just who is your competitor today, you must be aware who is your competitor tomorrow. This is where analytics, business intelligence, or your your own personal habits would help. So I just want to conclude. Thank you for giving this opportunity. I would like to say only one thing: change, change, change. Change is constant. There are four kinds of people: people who watch things happening, people who do not know what's happening, for people to whom things happen. But distinguished minority are those who makes things happen, and I want to be one of them. Thank you.
For sharing your valuable thoughts about people, people processes, and people managers. And
now I request our director sir to please present the memento to our esteemed guests at the open of
Honorable Chief Guest of the session, Shri P. Dwarkanath, Special Guest, Shri A.D. Burman ji, Respected Dr. Ravi Singh ji, Dr. Varna Tyagi, our most valuable invited guests, participants, faculty members, students, and ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on the behalf of organizing committee of the conclave here together, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Shri P. Dwarkanath for very kindly accepting our invitation and enlightening us with his great thoughts on performance management. He has very rightly specified the importance of pupils' growth for business growth. To be a complete manager, a pupil orientation is must. And for leadership and differentiation between a leader and a manager is, leader is a person who really cope with the change and manager executes. Pupil challenges in merger and acquisitions. Person is always known, or manager is always known for delivering what is promised. He has very rightly specified the key competencies for HR manager, like for strategic contribution, change management, talent management, rewarding good performance, and the most important is addressing poor performance. He has very nicely specified the challenges with the 360-degree appraisal system. And in fact, for any, he has very rightly specified that to implement a performance appraisal system or an PMS system in an organization, it is first necessary to know the culture of the organization to get the best fit tool. Inspirational leaders are the best leaders. Choose the knowledge of the business is must for an organization people to run. I'm thankful, we are very much thankful to you, sir, for your enlightened thoughts, valuable thoughts. I'm thankful to Shri A.D. Burman ji for giving us his valuable time. Thanks a lot for sharing with us your opinions. Thank you very much.
dignitaries, director sir, and all the guests present here, kindly move for the refreshment, which is arranged at JKPS or auditorium, first floor. And I request the escort team to kindly escort this. All the students are requested to kindly be here because next session will start from 11 o'clock, and team for session 1 are requested to arrange.
First year students, please note. First year students, please. This is your one of the topic for your channel. Performance management. This is topic in HR.
quality projects, setting up teams and practices across all functions and industries.
And to present the welcome bouquet to Mr. Ved, to Mr. Krishna Kaushik, I'll ask Vidushi. I was involved with the goal setting, team building, and employee engagement activities for organizations. He is an expert at managing and leading teams, for running successful processes, operations, and experience of developing procedures, service standard for business excellence, and running projects. He has demonstrated excellence in maintenance of various operations, including analytics, career asset of global level of GL assets, and payroll process and allocation. PMS, creating organizational capability through job rotations and design, and conduct of assessment center successor. And now to facilitate our honorable guests, I'll ask Radhika to kindly come on the dais with the podium. Student present here. It's my honor to present the receipt paper of Clinton on Longmaker and Jackals Monody on the topic of stop the fire of performance and create the climate for results. The notion stop the fire is to give the appropriate fuel to appropriate level at the appropriate time and create the climate for results. The manager must stop the fire of performance and creating the results for climate through the leadership. Various practices are followed to stop the fire and create the climate, like monitor and measure ongoing performance, motivate employees to create ownership and accountability, providing ongoing performance feedback by being a good coach, and remove performance barriers. First, monitor and measure ongoing performance. The factors that contribute to this, the art being in know. To lead effectively, managers have to know all the facets of operations are performing on an ongoing basis. Managers tend to be closely linked to their operations and people. The art of being in know requires that manager to possess the ability to monitor and measure performance, so that they always know where current performance is in relation to desired performance standard. Second, make interpersonal contact. Observe the performance and behavior of our people regularly and use interpersonal contact to keep in touch with them. This will soon become the norm rather than exception. It also sets the stage for coaching employees. The third, measure individual performance. At the same time, monitor and review individual performance employee so that the manager know how well each individual is performing against the result you desire. In this way, manager truly knows that is going on for individual employee level, and manager can add this information to your behavior observation. Managed by walking around. MBWA is cubed by 3 activities, that is walking around, asking good questions and answering any question people may have. In this way, you have a chance to interact informally while at the same time observing behavior and some of the activity getting worked done. Keeping scorecard. Monitor and measure work unit performance against your previously established performance metrics or scorecard. In this way, you know what is going on in terms of overall results. The second practice, motivate employees to create ownership and accountability. The practice to increase ownership of performance. Develop a personal connection with each employee to understand the strength and weakness. Clarify each employee responsibility through effective delegation so that they know what challenges they must meet, and ensure that people are properly trained and equipped to perform. Develop linkage between desired performance and reward and incentives. Involve employees in key practices that affect them, such as goal setting, planning, etc. Practice open book management with employees in terms of sharing organizational and work unit goals. Practices to create accountability for results. Provide balanced ongoing performance feedback for people. Providing ongoing coaching for people and on how to improve their performance. Deal with non-performers who are damaging work unit performance and morale by implementing a corrective action plan. The third practice, provide ongoing performance feedback by being a good coach. The word coach can have a variety of meanings, especially to those who play organized sports. Coach can mean authoritarian, the order giver, the discipliner. As Shula and Blanchard state in their famous book, Everyone's Coach, that the purpose of coaching is to improve both the person and their performance. There are 5 components of coaching, in which C stands for concern for employees, O stands for observation of behavior and performance, A stands for alignment to adjust employee behavior and performance, and C stands for communication and feedback about the performance, and H help to improve performance. There are employee ability. There are 4 kinds of employee. The dream employee. The dream employees are highly skilled and highly motivated. They typically do what is expected than more. Here the coach role is that of nurturing leader. and help to keep performance strong by identifying new and challenging job assignments, provide regular doses of praise and recognition. The second employee is the up-and-coming employee. Up-and-coming employee can be a blessing to you as a coach because they are motivated and willing to work and learn. Here the coach observes and monitors employee performance and identifies the specific skills to be developed. The third is underachieving employee. Underachieving employees frequently have the skill, experience and ability to grade work when they want to, but their motivation tends to get in the way. These employees frequently labeled as underachiever, people on curse control, because they fail to use their talents to the fullest. Here the role of the coach is motivated and looks to motivate the employee through the myriad of practices discussed thus far, and then help the employee improve consistency and overall performance. The fourth is change or go employees. A worst case scenario for a manager involves the change or go employees. Those who lack the abilities, skills to do the job and don't show any sign to being motivated, the coach role shifts to that of disciplinary and documented of performance to prepare for demotion or termination. Although this is often an unpleasant task, taking actions to demonstrate the performance standards matter to all the concerned parties and can send a powerful motivational message. The fourth practice is remove the performance barriers. There are process in removing the performance barrier in which the first is identifying the most urgent performance barriers to attack. That is, pick out the ones that with the greatest impact on performance. Make sure that you have properly defined the problem and use data to identify the key variables of concern.
A very warm good morning to all the dignitaries, faculty members and everyone present here. I, Neha, am pleased to present before you a research paper by Brian E. Becker, Mark A. Hewlett and Dave Ulrich on the topic 6 Key Principles for Measuring Human Capital Performance in Your Organization. Human capital and its performance are source of competitive advantage for any organization. By human capital, we mean the productive effort of an organization's workforce. Therefore, it must be treated as an asset. A research by Barrett Leb and his colleagues demonstrated that an increasing share of the firm's market value can be attributed to the value of its intangible assets, data management, measurement, and reporting. An analysis of about 3,000 firms showed that there is a strong relationship between high-performance HR system and shareholder value. Although this research compares to manage human capital like a strategic asset, there is a difficulty translating this into academic practice because it is perhaps not easy to tangibilize human capital's contribution to the success of the organization. For this purpose, 6 key principles have been devised. The first principle is focus on the strategic impact of human capital. Human capital is an elusive concept as it is difficult to capitalize investments in skills and other intangibles. Therefore, the ways to measure human capital depends on the questions one wants to answer. In a measure, if an organization wants to drive out costs, the HR manager would focus on the cost of human capital. The second principle is beware of human capital alchemy. Traditionally, human capital is viewed as a cost to be minimized and HR function is focused on the administrative efficiency and transactions. There are 3 steps to manage human capital as a strategic asset. The first is the right perspective, where the HR professionals and line managers both need a new perspective on the management of human capital. The second, the right HR system in which the HR professionals and line managers need to take a shared responsibility for developing an HR system. The third, the right performance management system wherein the measures designed to reflect human performance should focus on how well the HR system generates the employee performance behaviors required by the organization. The principle is need to measure both human capital levels and relationships. There is a need to measure human capital, that at what level we place the human capital. As a cost, as an investment, as something creating profit, or as something creating wealth. Human capital performance does not have direct influence on the bottom line measures of financial performance. This indirect line of sight poses a challenge for measuring human capital performance. Therefore, the organization has to focus on the relationship between human capital and the drivers of the firm's financial performance. Act